Dr. Carole Lieberman, we have asked you to analyze the body language tonight for us. Tell us what you were seeing looking at this guy, please.
Well, there really isn't. It's hard to analyze the body language when we're just seeing his face. But clearly he was under a lot of stress. He didn't want to reveal anything that was going to hurt him in the end. He was a little confused about what happened. The story is very confusing depending upon who you're talking to as to what actually happened. He was careful in not giving information away. He kept fighting and saying, I'm not going to talk about it until after I get, after my sentencing. So he was, careful in that sense. But, there was one interesting body language shot that we saw where he's in court and he goes to get up, and that could be just anxiety. He's sitting there and he's feeling anxious, or it kind of goes along with what he said on the telephone, that he wants to get this over with already. He wants to start serving his time in prison. And it's like, call on me. I want to get going already.
Right. I appreciate that, Dr. Carole. That's fascinating. There it is. Yeah. Looking a little fidgety there in his seat, presumably shackled there at the wrists and ankles, I'm guessing. Dr. Carole, tell me, how do you think that may go for him if he decides, I want to testify for my woman, my love, the mother of my children. I want to go in there and try to help things out.
Well, I think that Kelsey is a major manipulator. She manipulated the psychiatrist to come and give her money for 2 years or so. And it's not clear really yet just how much physically she had to do with the doctor's death, but she was ordering the people around. I mean, there's a story that when he came to the house, he was staying at the house, and there was another roommate, a male roommate, who had a girlfriend who came over. And Kelsey got really angry when this girlfriend, also a blonde, started flirting with the psychiatrist. And that started it, that she became enraged, that she thought that this other girl was going to try to take her sugar daddy away from her. And then there's reports that then she got her boyfriend to be physical with him. That part is muddled. But what is clear to me anyway is that she manipulated the psychiatrist, she manipulated her boyfriend, she's still manipulating her boyfriend to get him to plead guilty and try to, get her claim that she had nothing to do with it. But she's holding these promises for both of these men. She's, keeping them with these teases, these lures. And really, now, the other interesting thing is, I wonder if this boyfriend, he may assume, and it may be true, that her baby is his. And if that's the case, then of course he wants to, have her be there as a mother to his baby.
Well, they have a child together. As far as we know, that is confirmed. They do have a child together. But as far as the manipulation goes, I want to talk more about that, Dr. Carole. I'm glad you brought up that point, because many people watching the show might be thinking, okay, this guy was a mental health professional. How can a mental health professional be manipulated by a layperson? Dr. Carole Lieberman, we've asked you to kindly be our body language expert tonight. And one thing that jumped out at me, and I wanted to ask you what this signifies, is when he was kind of nervously laughing there with his answers. What does that say to you, please?
Well, it is just what you said. It's nervous laughter. It's showing that, he's feeling like he's being pushed into a corner, because she keeps asking the questions slightly different ways, but she's, like a dog with a bone. And one good thing is that you would have expected him to just get really angry and hang up. And it's interesting that he continues to go along with it, but he's obviously uncomfortable, and all of these twitches and so on is evidence of that. Kelsey may not have laid a finger on the doctor. I don't know. It's still very much of a confusing mess, but she certainly orchestrated it. And he is going to be John is going to be very disappointed when he gets out, however many years from now, thinking that he and Kelsey are going to go off into the sunset together. And there's going to be no way that that's going to happen.
No. Maybe they'll get a nice sunset in the prison yard or something. That's where he's going for sure. Her, that remains to be seen. She's still going to trial on this one. We have no indication she's going to plead. She's going to roll the dice, go to trial, and it'll be up to the jury to decide whether or not she is cloaked in the presumption of innocence as of right now. But these are some very bad facts we're going to see. Mike. He sure does. Because I think he thinks he's smarter than everybody else. But we know he's not. Dr. Carole Lieberman, let me pick your brain, please. You talked to us earlier about how Kelsey Turner is so manipulative in your view, and a horrible situation where he winds up dead. We know that the doctor's girlfriend, who may be a very key state witness, said that Kelsey Turner had extorted Dr. Burchard, had extorted him to the amount of around $300,000 over a period of time. And something that seems kind of contradictory would be, well, why in the world would she want him dead? If she did orchestrate the murder, if he's the gravy train, that would stop if he's dead. Help us make sense of that, please, Dr. Carole.
Well, first of all, Dr. Burchard, was married. He had a first marriage. And when that marriage ended in divorce, his wife exposed that he had a predilection for going online and finding women, sexy women, and starting some kind of a relationship with them, whether it was to give them money. I mean, he used to say that he felt sorry for them and so on. So that ended in that way. Now, Kelsey was partly she was extorting money because she was with promises of sex, and yes, it certainly does seem likely that there was some kind of sexual, activities going on between she and the doctor. But also, she threatened him that she would tell him, she would report to the police that he had some kind of, whether it was just with women or prostitutes, or there was this hint of it being with children, pornographic images of children. But, that really hasn't been proven yet. And in any case, yeah, even if it was true, I mean, it's horrible to think that it's true because he was a child psychiatrist, and there really hasn't been any, there weren't any complaints against him from his patients. So, but anyway, but if it turns out that it's true that he was doing all these things, obviously that looks bad, but that has nothing to do with why he should be murdered. That doesn't mean he should be murdered. But yes, it is. She was angry at him that night because of the woman that I mentioned, the other blonde woman who seemed to want to steal her ATM. She was also angry because of something on his phone. It wasn't clear that it was pornographic images of children or women, or she said there was something about him texting with her mother. And then also, she was angry because he was threatening to not be her sugar daddy anymore, to stop the ATM. So those would have been reasons for why she was furious at him, and could have then told her boyfriend and perhaps also the roommate to kill him.
So the anger could be the why. The anger that she may have had on that night could be the motive behind this. What's going on with him? Does he think he's smarter than everybody else?
Well, that may be a part of it. But I think this whole threesome belongs in the stupid criminals column, because they left the body in the trunk of Kelsey's car. I mean, what an idiotic idea to that gave the police the first clue. Whose car is this? It's not really brain surgery to find out who owns the car or who was registered to, and that put them on their track. So, I don't know.
But in terms of him being, so narcissistic is the word that comes to my mind, just the way he's saying, the lawmakers need to change the laws, this is injustice, and it's the fault of the police, like, I'm just doing this for everybody, I feel bad for what people went through. Like, what's going on with this guy? Like, does he just think he's, anybody's buying what he's selling?
Oh, I think he thinks people are buying it. I think he thinks that act, the selfless act, the hero, I'm going to take it for everybody. I think he also partly believes that. I don't think he's just saying it. I think he really does want to be the hero. And I think I think he's thinking, again, that I think a lot of it has to do with that child. But I'm wondering if her baby that she was pregnant with had DNA analysis, because couldn't it be the doctor's child if they did have sex?
Carole, I told you before, our facts that we've been reporting is that they have a child together. I don't have any DNA testing, but I got to leave it there because I got to get to Dr. John Delatorre. Much thanks to my wonderful guest tonight, retired special.